All right, we're gonna make some more progress today. As I said, I ordered a couple of parts. Let's get started, we'll take a look at that. So I finally, I went on down to, oh yeah, to the Harbor Freight. And I got myself a Viking. It doesn't mess around. Now, why do I have to have a battery charger? Because I have trouble keeping my AGMs charged. I installed a battery management system that was meant for a much more complicated vehicle than what I have. So, hasn't been the easiest thing to deal with, but I'm gonna change that, but that is a future episode. Today we're gonna look at those parts I got. All right, let me pull the camera off the mount. And let us take a look at the parts I got. So you guys will see more. See if I can get rid of the glare. So I got this, it's a junction block that will work for this. See how this is a tri-junction? 3 big wires going into it. That is going to be in there. And then the other thing I got, oh my goodness, I'll lock these onto the tripod when I assemble something so you guys don't get sick. But basically these, all they are is wire connectors, except that they stack. Hold on, they stack like that. So if you have 6 wires, you got 6 things stacked and they're all bound. And so we're gonna use those a bit too. All right, let me get set up a bit. And again, remember from our last episode, I hooked up one circuit to remind myself how this all went on the old setup. And I gotta hook all these wires up. And let me show you how this is gonna work, because it's pretty cool. Now I'm not sandwiching all these in properly, because I'll do that once the wires are connected. But I'm gonna go with a little something like this, right? Doot, doot, doot. It's gonna connect them all right there. Once they're all connected, then they'll be nice and clean. And I'll figure out how to mount this thing. Not exactly sure how to do it, but I'll figure out how to mount this thing so it's at least somewhat reasonable somewhere. And then I'll probably improve beyond that too. Yeah, because you know, I'm iterating towards greatness here. This setup was pretty good, but then I was like, you know what? I just don't like all those wires coming in. So I needed something a little bit more compact, which is why I switched to this. I'll just keep making it better. All right, let's go. I'm gonna pull the red arc out of here. It has implications for how I'm wiring all this stuff up. And I got this big bundle of cables running over there to the battery sensor. And so here's the deal. The Red Arc Red Vision and Manager 30 system, really good system. Probably more so with a lithium battery setup. Also for this rig, it's overkill. Here's why. Because lithium batteries are sensitive to temperature, and I just run a couple of Northstar AGM batteries. The Manager 30 and the battery sensor, it faults when it's too cold. It faults when it's too hot. And by too hot, I mean 103 degrees outside. So I'm in the Mojave Desert, it says, I'm out. I'm not charging your battery. That might be a safety thing. I mean, it might be safe for a lithium battery, but for my setup, I don't like that. Same thing when it's under temperature. Now, the result of that is that I've probably gone through about $800 to $1,200 worth of Northstar AGM batteries because it's not charging right, because it's faulting. Yeah, it's set up as though it's an AGM battery, but that doesn't change how the battery sensor is faulting, at least to my knowledge. The other thing is I've been through 3 battery sensors, and those aren't inexpensive either. So long story short, it's too complicated for my setup. I'm going to go with something much more simple to recharge my starting and house battery, and that's going to have implications for how I wire this. It's big implications because all the wiring in my truck is around that Red Vision switching. But you may recall that when I installed the Red Vision, I also had manual switches, so I wasn't reliant on the Red Vision console for turning things off and on. So the wiring implications shouldn't be too bad, but it's also not going to be small. It's going to be large. So, yep, there it is, making that decision. And now I got to pull out a big old cable. It's going to be a better setup when I get done. Much more simple. All right, let's go. All right, I think you guys can relate. Pulling this out of there was really cathartic. All right, I'm not throwing this stuff away. This is some really good wire in here. So I keep it. Now, this is really good wire, really good ground wire, really good positive wire. I'm going to use this just to go directly to my house battery and feed power into the 80 where appropriate, of course, for all of my accessories. Now, because I'm no longer feeding the red arc, this really good positive cable will replace, you guys may have noted, kind of a jank cable that I have currently. One, the insulation on this jank cable is not meant for engine bays. 2, the cable itself is for car stereos, so it's a nice and fat, thick gauge, but it's not really appropriate for under the hood in an automobile. So, you know, the covering fades and it's not very good quality. So I'm gonna replace that with this, because this cable now neatly will come over here and just go to the battery. So yeah, good stuff. All right, let's continue. Told you this was a big deal. Now I just up and yanked out the red vision and the red arc and the battery sensor. What does this mean? You know, I like cinematography. It's a big passion of mine. Film, the process of filmmaking. Clearly, I got a YouTube channel. I just got inspired to use a better lens. And I want to use an old vintage glass lens that was, you guys may have heard, was used on Raiders of the Lost Ark on a VistaVision camera. I just stumbled around it and just found it at a garage sale. So I'm going to put on that lens. And for you film nerds out there, I want you to see the quality difference, but also what I have to go through in order to set that lens up as opposed to this one right here. But it'll be fast. All right. Now you guys see, whoosh, I changed the depth of field on this lens because I can. What was I saying? Okay, so what does this all mean? I just yanked out the Red Vision and the Manager 30 and the wiring that connects some of that together. And so I got a bunch of accessories in the truck that just don't work. They're not hooked up anymore. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take about 10 minutes off camera and I am going to figure out how I can reconnect the wiring that's going through the firewall in order to avoid a bunch of rewiring. Because I got a bunch of great wire going through, but without the Red Arc and Red Vision, clearly I've got to hook it up a bit differently. But we're also going to figure out how to link those batteries together with a simple battery charge controller that can charge from the alternator, shore power, your house power, plugging it in, or solar power. And so it's a simple control unit. I actually got it from Wagon Tech. Now, haven't installed it yet, so I need to take another look at that and see exactly how that all works. So off camera, I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna look, I'm gonna contemplate, figure out how I'm gonna do all this. Okay guys, I wanna tell you what's happening right now so you're not over here sitting out back wondering what's going on. So my contemplating has turned into pulling out the wire I don't need and pulling it through the firewall. Also, salvaging some rather expensive thick wire, low gauge wire, 4 gauge, I think it's 4, so that I can use it for some of the other wiring. Sun is straight up overhead. When I was young, I didn't really think about that kind of stuff, but you know, my grandfather, he had an orchard down in San Jose area. He didn't let us, and then he bought a ranch down south. Anyway, he didn't let us work in the middle of the day, and I never appreciated that, but now I do. It's freaking hot. Okay, so remember this old radio cable I said I was gonna pull on out of there? Okay, so I need to pull that radio cable out of here. By radio cable, I mean it's meant for car stereos, not for industrial type off-road and stuff. All right, so I gotta pull this out. I restrung the good cables, positive, negative through here. And I need to hook it up to my 100 amp breaker right there. So I'm gonna split it here, then I'm gonna hook it up here once I crimp some terminals on there. And then I'm gonna hook it all up and then pull this wire out. And I'll show that to y'all time-lapse style. All right, let's do it. Okay, now those are pretty tidy. I'm gonna put this on here. Okay, then we're gonna cap that there. Look at how beautiful that is. Yeah, that's wrapped nice and tight. All right, cool. Does it pop? Sure do. Now I can pull that down. See, look. I can pull that down. That'll go over there. What are you guys looking at? Here, let me give you a better look. Whoosh. See? Let me take down the ND filter one more time. Bam. Look at that. Looks fine. Okay, let me pull this through though. Give myself a little bit more slack on this side. Oh, I'm liking the progress I'm making today. See? Okay, there you go. Now watch this. these mounts are for wire ties. Now, boom, right up against the firewall. Oh, sure, I'll crawl up into this thing. You guys like watching me crawl up into the engine bay like I like to do. So yeah, let's go for it. Ooh, I made good progress today. If I don't frickin' kill myself. Okay, he was wise. He got a stepladder. Talked to my buddy Cam. He went camping by my house. Hi, Cam. He built this motor. Brother's got a gift. Not trying to jinx nothing. I'm just saying brother's got a gift. All right, here we go. I'm gonna get that one. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Right in there. See how that works, you guys? Boom. Oh my God, so good. There we go. Now, you turn the little Sharpie end down so you don't cut yourself. There you go. Look at how tight that is. You guys happy? Does that make you happy? Makes me happy. All right, you guys, I turned the camera back on because I want you to share in this satisfaction. This old car stereo cable. Ugh. Look at that all chopped up and yucky. Look at that. Ah! It's out of here. It is out of here. Isn't that satisfying? Got rid of the jank cable. I got good cable going all the way over there. Cleaned up all this stuff. Took out the red arc battery sensor. Oh boy, that makes me happy. Okay. Okay, you guys know, it's kind of a big deal. Got rid of this. We had some good times. We had some bad times, but they were mostly good. All right. Labeled my wires so I don't get lost. Clearly that's a ground. Wow, okay. Time for us to get organized. You're all over there. I don't think I even need you. Do I like you? I don't know if I even like you. All right, you guys, what did we do today? A bunch of stuff. We got rid of the red arc. We pulled that out. We ran some good cable to the house battery. We got rid of a bunch of wiring on the inside that we didn't need. And we started to pull out the relay box. We did pull out the relay box in prep to get the new relay unit in there. I also took notes today. A bunch of stuff that I need. So I'll order that. The next video will have that, those pieces to complete the wiring so it's nice and tidy. And will we finish next time? I don't know. We'll see. All right, you guys. Hey, Overland Bound One, free app from the Overland Bound community. It's a community connection, also a bunch of locations, off-road locations with reviews. So there's probably some locations near you. Check them out. Download Overland Bound One now. Till next time, outfit, explore. I'll see you in the next video.